So here we are. Let's have a little chat then whilst people are joining. Good evening or good morning or good afternoon to those listening on the replay or the audio experience. Massive shout out to you. Steve, just noticed you left a comment. Lowry, good evening as well. What do you say, Steve? You said quick one where regarding flipping. So flipping, for those who are like, what's flipping? That's buying items cheap on the high street and then selling them online for more money. You can do this from like pound shops, TK Maxx in the UK, all kinds of places, getting them on eBay, getting them on Gumtree, Facebook Marketplace, etc. I did like a little test tutorial run of this on my vlog, Watch Ross, a couple of weeks ago. If you go to youtube.com/Watch Ross, you can watch that. Steve says, bought Rise of the Foot Soldier 2 from Urmston Poundland on Saturday for £1. Sold it today on eBay for £5. Who buys that rubbish? Answer, someone in Liverpool. Steve, man, that makes me happy. That's exactly what I did. So on my vlog, I basically went into Poundland, the local Poundland, because I was saying actors are always whinging about having no money. And I was like, I used to earn an extra 10 grand a year flipping items. Like, you wouldn't believe, like, the stuff that I used to flip. Stuff like, you would go into a pound shop and buy a tube of glue for £1, branded super glue, sell it on eBay for £6. Like, that shit works, like, seriously. And Steve's just done it with a Blu-ray. That was one of the things on the vlog. I bought a Blu-ray with Danny Dyer in it for £1. Would have got £5.95 for it on eBay. So Steve, freaking love it, mate. Absolutely love it. Keep doing it. Imagine if you bought 10 of them. It's £50, and you wouldn't have had to spend any extra time listing those extra 9 of that DVD if they had 10 of them in stock, for instance, because you would just write 10 in the item box as opposed to 1. So good stuff. We're asking a really interesting question tonight, and I don't know the answer to this, right? This is the book club. It's the book club that we're looking at tonight. Brand new book we're looking at tonight. And I've seen this book around. Let me know if you've seen it around as well, because I've seen this around a long time. And I've seen a lot of people have suggested this as a book that I should do for the book club. And I never have. And I'm just like, you know what? Tonight, I'm gonna get this book on Kindle and we're gonna do it. I'm reading it completely blind, like I haven't read this in advance like normal, because I don't know the answers to this. The book, excuse my language, it is the title of the book. It's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, and it's by a guy called Mark Manson, and it's a counterintuitive approach to living the good life. So normally, I'm all about personal development, positivity, mindset, success. And obviously a lot of that revolves around caring about what you're doing, but, and I say this on many occasions, I know I have screwed up auditions, like everything in like dates, so many situations by caring too much. What I do in the gym, eating. I mean, when you care too much, it can really detract. Good evening, Lindsay, from your happiness, can't it? Because sometimes you can get too serious and the fun goes out the window. And I know I've absolutely royally fucked up auditions in the past. Not for many years, thank God, touch wood. Because I was resting everything, my entire life, on the outcome of this audition because I gave too much of a beep. So this book is all about how we can, subtly begin to not give a beep, and by doing so, ultimately have more success and have more fun as well in our lives. Enjoy things a little bit more. Take life, a little less seriously. Does that resonate with people before we start reading? What are your thoughts on this? Have you ever screwed up stuff by caring too much, by going in too hard on something? Don't mean anything dodgy by that. But yeah, particularly in the acting industry, you might have gone into an agent meeting, and you just you cared too much about the outcome that you actually screwed it up. Maybe you were starting a new relationship, you cared too much about the outcome that you screwed it up. You just didn't have any fun with it. Same with an acting role, maybe you were too wrapped up in the rehearsal process to enjoy it, and the whole thing was a chore rather than actually like a job that you like. Because I think there's a danger of that as actors. There's a lot of, or just as human beings, a lot of people in situations that they are telling themselves, I want to be an actor because I love acting. And I'm like, well, 95% of the time when I meet you, you're miserable as hell because you're putting yourself through loads of turmoil that you probably don't need to be putting yourself through. I think it's a real issue. So this chapter, we're going to read chapter 1 tonight. I don't even know how long it is because I haven't read it yet, and I do know I have 18% left on my iPad, though, so if it's longer than 18% worth of iPad, we're not reading the whole of chapter 1. But we're at least going to get a long way through it. And it says, yes, so chapter 1 is called Don't Try, right? I'm going to try, and read the comments that are coming through here. Oh, this is going to be tricky, isn't it? And have it on my iPad here and not screw it up. So here we go. I'm going to give this a good go. So Don't Try. Starts off, it says, Charles Bukowski was an alcoholic. It doesn't sound like it's not a great start for him, is it? Was an alcoholic, a womanizer, a chronic gambler, a lout, a cheapskate, a deadbeat, and on his worst days, a poet. He's probably the last person on earth you'd ever look for life advice from or expect to see in any sort of self-help book, which is why he's the perfect place to start. Bukowski wanted to be a writer. Gary, you're on here. You want to be a writer. Well, you don't want to be. You are a bloody writer. He wanted to be a writer, but for decades, his work was rejected by almost every magazine, newspaper, journal, agent, and publisher that he submitted to. His work was horrible, they said, crude, disgusting, depraved, and as the stacks of rejection slips piled up, the weight of his failures pushed him deep into an alcoholic-fueled depression that would follow him most of his life. Hopefully, Gary, you ain't there. Jason Broderick, good evening, my man. Good to see you. Bukowski had a day job as a letter filer at a post office. He got paid shit money and spent, next page, most of it on booze. He gambled away the rest at the racetrack. At night he would drink alone and sometimes hammer out poetry on his beat-up old typewriter. Often he'd wake up on the floor having passed out the night before. Doesn't sound like he's having too much of a good time, does he? 30 years went by like this, right? 30 years went by like this. Most of it a meaningless blur of alcohol, drugs, gambling and prostitutes. Sounds quite interesting. Then, when Bukowski was 50, after a lifetime of failure and self-loathing, an editor at a small independent publishing house took a strange interest in him. The editor couldn't offer Bukowski much money or much promise of sales, but he had a weird affection for the drunk loser. So he decided to take a chance on him. It was his first real shot Bukowski had ever had, and he realised probably the only one he would ever get. Bukowski wrote back to the editor, I've one of two choices. Maybe you've been in this position. I have one of two choices. Stay in the post office, that's where he's working, and go crazy, or stay out here and play at writer and starve. I have decided to starve. Maybe as an actor you decide to starve for a little bit, hopefully not forever. Upon signing the contract, Bukowski wrote his first novel in 3 weeks. It was called simply Post Office. In the dedication he wrote, dedicated to nobody. Bukowski would make it as a novelist and poet. He would go on and publish 6 novels and hundreds of poems, selling over 200... Oh no, not 200. Selling over 2 million. 200 wouldn't have been that great. Selling over 2 million copies of his books. His popularity defied everyone's expectations, particularly his own. Stories like Bukowski's are the bread and butter of our cultural narrative. Bukowski's life embodies the American dream, right? A man fights for what he wants, he never gives up and eventually achieves his wildest dreams. It's practically a movie waiting to happen. We all look at stories like Bukowski's and say, see, he never gave up, he never stopped trying, he always believed in himself, he persisted against all odds and made something of himself. It's then strange that on Bukowski's tombstone, the epitaph reads, "Don't try." See, despite the book sales and the fame, Bukowski was a loser. He knew it, and his success stemmed not from some determination to be a winner, but from the fact that he knew he was a loser, accepted it, and then wrote honestly about it. He never tried to be anything other than what he was. The genius in Bukowski's work was not in overcoming unbelievable odds or developing himself into a shining literary light. It was the opposite. It was his simple ability to be completely, unflinchingly honest with himself, especially the worst parts of himself, and to share his failings without hesitation or doubt. And I guess that comes down to like vulnerability and honesty, doesn't it? You know, that's something that I think is absolutely critical for success, because you will see the bullshitters on social media saying how amazing their lives are, taking pictures of the helicopters and the money on the bed and the girls and the cars and all this shit. And you know behind the scenes life ain't like that. So you don't connect with them. You're like, you know what, I'm not interested in you. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care about you. The people who are kind of a bit more open and honest online and a bit like, hey, I struggle with shit as well. Even though I'm living what would be perceived as a good life, here's what I am dealing with now. They're the people you relate to a lot more. That's why I try and be as open as I can when like shit ain't great. So this is the real story of Bukowski's success. His comfort with himself as a failure. Bukowski didn't give a fuck about success. Even after his fame, he still showed up to poetry readings, hammered, and verbally abused people in his audience. Simon Barton, good evening. Thanks for joining us, PB. He still exposed... Oh, this isn't good. He still exposed himself in public and tried to sleep with every woman he could find. Don't do that. You'll end up like Harvey Weinstein. Fame and success didn't make him a better person, nor was it by becoming a better person that he became famous and successful. Self-improvement and success often occur together, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're the same thing. Now, this is the interesting part of this book and what it all revolves around, okay, about our culture. And this echoes just what I said then. And this is where I don't know how much we should or shouldn't buy into not giving a fuck, basically, the title of this book. Our culture today is obsessively focused on unrealistically positive expectations. Good evening, Bobby. Be happier, we're told. Be healthier. Be the best, better than the rest. Be smarter, faster, richer, sexier, more popular, more productive, more envied, and more admired. Be perfect and amazing and crap out 12-carat gold nuggets before breakfast each morning before kissing your selfie-ready spouse and 2.5 kids goodbye. Then fly your helicopter to your wonderfully fulfilling job where you spend your days doing incredibly meaningful work that's likely to save the planet one day. But when you stop and really think about it, conventional life advice, all the positives and happy self-help stuff we hear all the time, is actually fixating on what you lack. It lasers in on what you perceive your personal shortcomings and failures to already be, and then emphasizes them for you. This is what I never coach, I would hope, though, because I always say, forget your weaknesses, focus on your strengths, and double down on that. It's why I would never focus on maths, because it was never a strength of mine. I'd rather double down on like being in front of a camera or something. It's a bit more of a strength of mine as opposed to get better at maths and not enjoy myself whilst emphasising I was shit at it. So yeah, hopefully I don't do that. But let's see what this goes on to say. You learn about the best ways to make money because you feel you don't have enough money already. You stand in front of the mirror and repeat affirmations saying that you're beautiful because you feel as though you're not beautiful already. You follow dating and relationship advice because you feel that you're unlovable already. You try goofy visualization exercises about being more successful because you feel as though you aren't successful enough already. Ironically, the fixation on the positive, on what's better, what's superior, only serves to remind us over and over again of what we are not, of what we lack or what we should have been, but failed to be. After all, no truly happy person feels the need to stand in front of a mirror and recite that she's happy. She just is. There's a saying in Texas, the smallest dog barks the loudest. A confident man doesn't feel a need to prove that he's confident. A rich woman doesn't feel the need to convince anyone that she's rich. Either you are or you're not. And if you're dreaming of something all the time, then you're reinforcing the same unconscious reality over and over that you are not that. You know, kind of agree with that. Everyone in their TV commercial wants you to believe that the key to a good life is a nicer job or a more rugged car or a prettier girlfriend or a hot tub with an inflatable pool for the kids. The world is constantly telling you that the path to a better life is more, buy more, own more, make more, fuck more, be more. You are constantly bombarded with messages to give a fuck about everything all the time. Give a fuck about a new TV. Give a fuck about having a better vacation than your co-workers. Give a fuck about buying that new lawn ornament. Give a fuck about having the right kind of selfie stick. Why? My guess, because giving a fuck about more stuff is good for business. And while there's nothing wrong with good business, the problem is that giving too many fucks is bad for your mental health. It causes you to become overly attached to the superficial and fake, to dedicate your life to chasing a mirage of happiness and satisfaction. The key to a good life is not giving a fuck all the time. It's about giving less of a fuck, giving a fuck about only what is true and immediate and important. Good evening, Karen. Apologies for the language. this is part of it. The book's got a lot of F's in it. But yeah, I mean, like I say, I haven't read this, so I'll tell you what I make of it afterwards. This is just the opinion of the author. But it's interesting, isn't it? And I do think we can give too many F's about too many things, and it just detracts us from actually what we should be focusing on immediately. So he says there's a feedback loop from hell. Hello, Inay, and this is the feedback loop from hell. There's an insidious quirk to your brain that if you let it, can drive you absolutely batty. Tell me if this sounds familiar to you. You get anxious about confronting somebody in your life. That anxiety cripples you, and you start wondering why you're so anxious. Now you're becoming anxious about being anxious. Oh no, doubly anxious. Now you're anxious about your anxiety, which is causing more anxiety. Quick, where's the whiskey? Or let's say you've got an anger problem. You get pissed off at the stupidest, most insane stuff. And you have no idea why. And the fact that you get pissed off so easily starts to piss you off even more. And then in your petty rage, you realise that being angry all the time makes you a shallow and mean person. You hate this. You hate it so much that you get angry at yourself. Now look at you. You're angry at yourself, getting angry about being angry. Fuck you, wall. Here, have a fist. David says it sounds very similar to Darren Brown's book, Happy. Interesting. That's something that I don't know. Annabelle's here as well. Hi, Annabelle. Says, looking forward to catching up on the podcast. Just finished Richard Reed's book. A great read. Yeah, Richard Reed's book. Great book. If I could tell you just one thing, that was last month's book. Go to adsonthis.tv if you're watching or listening and you want to look at the replays of that. Or just go and buy the book off Amazon. It's not that dear. So here's a third scenario. You're so worried about doing the right thing all the time that you become worried about how much you're worrying. Or you feel so guilty for every mistake you make that you begin to feel guilty about how guilty you're feeling. Or you get sad and alone so often that it makes you feel even more sad and alone just thinking about it. Welcome to the feedback loop from hell. Chances are you've engaged in it more than a few times, or maybe you're engaging in it right now. God, I do the feedback loop all the time. Loop all the time, not Luke. I don't know who feedback Luke is. This guy called Luke who gives feedback. I do the feedback loop all the time. I'm such a loser for doing it. I should stop. Oh my God, I feel like such a loser for calling myself a loser. I should stop calling myself a loser. Oh, fuck, I'm doing it again, see? I'm a loser. Ah! Calm down, amigo. Believe it or not, this is part of the beauty of being human. Very few animals on Earth have the ability to think cognitive thoughts to begin with. But we're humans, and we have the luxury of being able to have the thoughts about our thoughts. So I can think about watching Miley Cyrus videos on YouTube and then immediately think about what a sicko I am for wanting to watch Miley Cyrus videos on YouTube. The miracle of consciousness. Now here's the problem. Our society today, through the wonders of consumer culture, and hey, look at my life is cooler than your social media kind of life, it's bred a whole generation of people who believe that having these negative experiences, anxiety, fear, guilt, etc., is totally not okay. I mean, if you look at your Facebook feed, everyone there is having a fucking grand old time. Look, 8 people got married this week. Oh, I just saw that today. I saw it today twice. Just twice. I'm kind of cool with that, though. It's all right. I mean, look, yeah, so look at your Facebook feed. Everyone is having a grand old time. Look, 8 people got married this week, and some 16-year-old on TV got a Ferrari for a birthday, and another kid just made $2 billion inventing an app that automatically delivers you more toilet paper when you run out. Meanwhile, you're stuck at home flossing your cat. And you can't help but think your life sucks even more than you thought. The feedback loop from hell has become a borderline epidemic. I completely agree with this. Making many of us overly stressed, overly neurotic, and overly self-loathing. Back in Grandpa's day, he would feel like shit and think to himself, gee whiz, I sure do feel like a cow turd today, but hey, I guess that's just life. Back to shoveling hay. But now, if you feel like shit for even 5 minutes, you're bombarded with 350 images of people totally happy and having amazing fucking lives. And it's impossible to not feel like there's something wrong with you. It's this last part that gets us into trouble. It's good, this book, isn't it? It's very honest, isn't it? I love it. Yeah, this is good. People seem to be enjoying it. Give me some. I'm sorry for missing your comments on Twitter. If you on Facebook, I'll be able to read them because they stay there obviously permanently. So the last part is the part that gets into trouble, right? We feel bad about feeling bad. We feel guilty for feeling guilty. We get angry about getting angry. We get anxious about feeling anxious. What is wrong with me? This is why not giving a fuck is so key. This is why it's going to save the world, and it's going to save it by accepting that the world is totally fucked and that's all right. because it's always been that way and it always will be that way. By not giving a fuck that you feel bad, you short circuit the feedback loop. You say to yourself, I feel like shit, but who gives a fuck? and then, as if sprinkled by magic, fuck-giving fairy dust, you stop hating yourself for feeling so bad. George Orwell said that to see what's in front of one's nose requires a constant struggle. Well, the solution to our stress and anxiety is right there in front of our noses, and we're too busy watching porn and advertisements for ab machines that don't work, wondering why we're not banging a hot blonde with a rocking six-pack to notice. I told you it's very honest. But Jason says, loving this, mate. We joke online about first world problems, but we really have become victims of our own success. Stress-related health issues, anxiety disorders, and cases of depression have skyrocketed over the past 30 years, despite the fact that everyone has a flat-screen TV and can have their groceries delivered. Our crisis is no longer material, it's existential. It's spiritual. We have so much fucking stuff and so many opportunities that we don't even know what to give a fuck about anymore. Because there's an infinite amount of things we can now see or do, there are also an infinite number of ways we can discover that we don't measure up, that we're not good enough, that things aren't as great as they could be. And this rips us apart inside. Because here's the thing that's wrong with all of the how to be happy shit that's being shared 8 million times on Facebook in the past few years. Here's what nobody realises about all this crap. The desire for more positive experience is itself a negative experience, and paradoxically, the acceptance of one's negative experience is itself a positive experience. This is a total mindfuck, so I'll give you a minute to unpretzel your brain and maybe read that again. Wanting positive experience is a negative experience. Accepting negative experience is a positive experience. It's what the philosopher Alan Watts used to refer to as the backwards law. The idea that the more you pursue feeling better all the time, the less satisfied you become, as pursuing something only reinforces the fact that you lack it in the first place. The more you desperately want to be rich, the more poor and unworthy you feel, regardless of how much money you actually make. So true. The more you desperately want to be sexy and desired, the uglier you come to see yourself, regardless of your actual physical appearance. The more you desperately want to be happy and loved, the lonelier and more afraid you become, regardless of those who surround you. The more you want to be spiritually enlightened, the more self-centered and shallow you become in trying to get there. It's like this one time I tripped on acid. I've never done that. This is the words of Mark. And it felt like the more I walked towards the house, the further away the house got from me. And yes, I just used my LSD hallucination to make a philosophical point about happiness. No fucks given. As the existential philosopher Albert Camus said, and I'm pretty sure he wasn't on LSD at the time, you will never be happy if you continue to search for what happiness consists of. You will never live if you are looking for the meaning of life. Or put simply, don't try. Now, I know you're saying, Mark, this is making my nipples all hard, but what about the Camaro I've been saving up for? What about the beach body I've been starving myself for? After all, I paid a lot of money for the ab machine. What about the big house on the lake I'd desperately been dreaming of? If I stop giving a fuck about all those things, well, then I'll never achieve anything. I don't want that to happen, do I? And you might be thinking, well, if I don't give a fuck about my acting career, then I'm never going to have one. Well, listen, you just might. So glad you asked, he said. Ever notice that sometimes when you care less about something, you do better at it? Notice how it's often the person who is the least invested in the success of something that actually ends up achieving it. Notice how sometimes when you stop giving a fuck, everything just seems to fall into place. What's with that? What's interesting about the backwards law is that it's called backwards for a reason. Not giving a fuck works in reverse. If pursuing the positive is a negative, then pursuing the negative generates the positive. The pain you pursue in the gym results in better all-round health and energy. The failures in business are what lead to a better understanding of what's necessary to be successful. So being open with your insecurities, and paradoxically, that makes you more confident and charismatic around others. The pain of honest confrontation is what generates the greatest trust and respect in your relationships. Suffering through your fears and anxieties is what allows you to build courage and preservation. Seriously, not preservation, just read that wrong. Courage and perseverance. Maybe that is preservation though. Seriously, I could keep going, but you get the point. Everything worthwhile in life is won through surmounting the associated negative experience. Any attempt to escape the negative, The avoidance of suffering is a form of suffering in itself. The avoidance of struggle is a struggle. God, you must see that. Surely you understand that. To, ultimately, to attain the life you want to live, and to stop yourself struggling because you think that's going to stop the struggle. That is the struggle, isn't it? The avoidance of suffering is a form of suffering. The avoidance of struggle is a struggle. The denial of failure is a failure. Hiding what is shameful is itself a form of shame. Pain is an inextricable thread in the fabric of life, and to tear it out is not only impossible, but destructive. Attempting to tear it out unravels everything else within it. To try to avoid pain is to give too many fucks about pain. In contrast, if you're able to not give a fuck about the pain, you become unstoppable. In my life, I've given a fuck about many things. I've also not given a fuck about many things. And like the road not taken, it was the fucks not given that made all the difference. And chances are you know somebody in your life, I do, who at one time or another did not give a fuck and then went on to accomplish amazing feats. I definitely do. And this is what you see a lot of actors complaining about. They go, they don't even appreciate it. They don't even care about the job. It's got $1 million contract. Don't even give a fuck. Maybe they got it because they didn't give a fuck. So chances are, you know someone in your life who at one time or another did not give a fuck and then went on to accomplish amazing feats. Perhaps there was a time in your own life when you simply did not give a fuck and excel to some extraordinary height. For myself, quitting my day job in finance after only 6 weeks to start an internship business ranks pretty high up there in my own don't give a fuck hall of fame. Same with deciding to sell most of my possessions and move to South America. Fucks given? None. Just went and did it. These moments of non-fuckery are the moments that most define our lives. The major switch in careers, the spontaneous choice to drop out of college and join a rock band, the decision to finally dump that deadbeat boyfriend who you caught wearing your pantyhose a few too many times. To not give a fuck is to stare down life's most terrifying and difficult challenges and still take action. While not giving a fuck may seem simple on the surface, it's a whole new bag of burritos under the hood. I don't even know what the sentence means, but I don't give a fuck. A bag of burritos sounds awesome, so let's just go with it. Most of us struggle throughout our lives by giving too many fucks in situations where fucks do not deserve to be given. We give too many fucks about the rude gas station attendant who gave us our change in nickels, or in here in the UK, will be giving us our change in pennies. We give too many fucks when a show we liked was cancelled on TV. We give too many fucks when our co-workers don't bother asking us about our awesome weekend. Meanwhile, our credit cards are maxed out, our dog hates us, and Junior is snorting meth in the bathroom. Yet we're getting pissed off about nickels and everybody loves Raymond. Look, this is how it works. You're going to die one day. Right? I know that's kind of obvious, but I just wanted to remind you in case you've forgotten. You and everyone you know are going to be dead soon. Sober him. And in the short amount of time between here and there, you have a limited amount of fucks to give. Very few, in fact. And if you go around giving a fuck about everything and everyone without conscious thought or choice, well, then you're going to get fucked. There is a subtle art to not giving a fuck. And though the concept may sound ridiculous and I may sound like an asshole, what I'm talking about here is essentially learning how to focus and prioritize your thoughts effectively. How to pick and choose what matters to you and what does not matter to you based on finely owned personal values. This is incredibly difficult. It takes a lifetime of practice and discipline to achieve, and you will regularly fail. But it's perhaps the most worthy struggle one can undertake in one's life. It's perhaps the only struggle in one's life, because when you give too many fucks, when you give a fuck about everyone and everything, you will feel that you're perpetually entitled to be comfortable and happy at all times, that everything is supposed to be just exactly the fucking way you want it to be. This is a sickness, and it will eat you alive. You will see every adversity as an injustice, every challenge as a failure, every inconvenience as a personal slight, every disagreement as a betrayal. You will become confined to your own petty, skull-sized hell, burning with entitlement and bluster, running circles around your very own personal feedback loop from hell, in constant motion, yet arriving nowhere. Are you with us so far? It's interesting, isn't it? And it is so true, because what he's saying is not like don't care about anything. He's saying just be very careful about what you do care about. And there are so many people, and I see this on social media all the time, and I see it when I meet people who genuinely do care too much about many things, and one of the main things is what other people think of them. And for me, one thing I've learned over particularly the last 2 years of really putting myself out online and like everywhere with a vlog, weekly vlog, these live broadcasts, a podcast, that's on this, interviews, just everything that I can, is that, you ain't going to please everybody. Stop trying to do that a long time ago. I know there'll be people who'll be like, you know what, that's, who the fuck's that guy think he is doing a vlog every week? What's this bullshit? Why do you think he's so special? I don't give a fuck about that. Honestly, I don't care how many people watch it. I enjoy making it. I'm looking for quality views rather than numbers of views. That vlog's still only getting, 400-500 views a week. Most people after 36 episodes would have gone, I'm only getting 500 views a week. Forget it, cancel it. I don't give a fuck how many views I get. Because I'm like, you know what? If just 10 of those views are quality and that info in that vlog changes somebody's life for the better, you know what? Job done. I enjoy doing it. I don't give a fuck about like getting stuff back from people. I think I used to back in the day would be quite transactional about my life. Right, I'll do this for you. What am I going to get in return? Now I just give unconditionally without expecting anything in return because I don't care what I get back, but I end up getting way more back than I would do if I cared, I believe. I got the biggest voiceover job of my life last year because the engineer told me I had no chance of getting the job. So I went into the audition and I didn't give a fuck because I was convinced I was not going to get the job. I think there really is genuinely like something in this. When you care too much about something, I said this before, it's so easy to screw it up. And it's not about not caring about anything. It's about, like what Jason says in here, rationing the fucks you give. And I think like it can sound a bizarre message, but there's some really serious like lessons to be learned there. I came up with this saying ages ago, says Bobby. What is it? If they're going to hate you, at least it's you they're hating and not a character made up to impress or please everyone. Yeah, I mean, that's about being honest and you're putting your honest self out there, Bobby, as well. And that's about not giving a fuck about trying to live up to this fake, filtered Instagram life that everybody just wants to, try and... people don't even want to live up to it. They just feel this insane pressure to try. Thus, they give too many fucks. Thus, their life is a struggle. Jason says, man, there are so many opportunities I don't take action on because I give too many fucks about things outside of myself and what I internally value. That's interesting, isn't it? About why... I mean, if things are like, in terms of like your internal values are like doing, I'm not going to do this because it may seem shady or something like that, and it's not actually in alignment with, positive values, and that's totally fine. But if you're not doing something because you're like someone in this industry is going to give a shit, I know for a fact when I did Bulletproof Actor, I first launched Bulletproof Actor. For those who don't know what that is, it's a mindset coaching program that I launched just twice max a year. And rather than telling everybody on Bulletproof Actor, the program isn't about going, you should be amazing and live up to this standard. It's actually about going back and rewriting your previous limiting life story, the shit that's held you back for years, and actually accepting it, accepting your failures, growing through that, using that as fuel to move forward. So it's not about airy-fairy. It's all science-backed. It's super legit. Like, it's massive. Oscar winners have been through it now. Seriously, not even joking. Rachel Shenner went through it year before last. She won an Oscar this year. It's a super legit course, but I know, Jace, that there were people in this industry, 100%, because I had emails from people, I won't mention any names, telling me not to do it. Don't do it. Don't put this out there. You're going to be seen as this, that. You'll be questioned. Agents might not like it. Casting directors might not like it. You're empowering the wrong people. I was like, mate, my intention is pure with this program. The stuff in it has changed my life. I thus want to pass those gifts on to other people to change other people's lives for the best. I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. It couldn't have been the more right thing to do. The same people who were emailing me the year before to say, don't do it, you're going to be looked at like this, that, and the other, were actually fucking promoting it the year I launched it later. Sending emails out to their people to say, check this out, tweeting about it, retweeting testimonials. They were wrong, but I just was like, I just can't give a fuck about your opinion right now because I think this is the right thing to do. Thus, it's in alignment with my values. I'm going to go forth and do it. So don't hold back, Jace, on any of that shit. All those people in this industry, remember, right? The acting industry is no different to any other industry. And all those agents and famous people and casting directors and stars and all these, these people who you admire and would never, ever want to piss off, fuck, man, they're going to be dead soon as well. Like, Don't worry about it. We're all going to be dead. You're not going to give a shit when you're 91 that you sent an email to someone and they didn't like it, and thus they didn't give you an opportunity to audition for one TV show. Fuck, man, there's hundreds of the things out there. Like, don't hold back because of what other people, particularly people you don't know, think. Don't hold back because I'm not going to put this out online because ActorBoy600 might troll me. Who gives a fuck about ActorBoy600? Absolutely, man. First time I put out a free PDF about agents, I had emails from so many agents telling me I had some cheek not to include them. Who the fuck am I to give advice? Brilliant. It's brilliant, isn't it? You try to do something to help people. And people, it's jealousy, man. People do not, and it's insecurity, it's lack of confidence. Those people should not give a fuck that you're creating a list. They give too many fucks that you're creating a list of agents. So they're wasting time and feeling bad about that. Absolute. It's just hilarious, isn't it? Definitely. It's it's so funny. Bobby's a Bulletproof Actor alumni. He says he's going to make a t-shirt saying wrong person empowered. I empowered the wrong person, Bobby. It's funny, isn't it? Who the fuck are they to say who should be empowered or not? As a human being, you have a right to, live an empowered life. Most people, I've read a great quote before though, they said most people these days want to be entertained than empowered. And I believe that's true as well. That's why so many losers are walking around. I don't mean that in a horrible sense. I just mean they have set themselves up to lose because they care more about being entertained than being empowered. It's funny, isn't it? Let's read a little bit more of this, and we'll. What time is it? Oh yeah, it's 22. Let's read 10 more minutes of this, and we'll wrap it up with a little chat at the end. But I think this is a really interesting, honest book for those who are just joining. Reading a great book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. It's got quite a lot of fucks in it, so apologies if you don't like that word. I don't normally use it, but I'm using it a lot tonight because it's in the book. Lindsay says, how weird, I've just been looking at the list you made, Jason. There you go. Amazing. It's funny, man. Right, let's have a look. So it starts off now. So we've read the problems about giving too many fucks. If you're just joining now and you missed that, watch the replay after this. If you listen on the audio experience, I hope you're still with us. That's the people who listen on the replay. So when most people envisage giving no fucks whatsoever, they imagine a kind of serene indifference, okay, to everything, a calm that weathers all storms. They imagine and aspire to be a person who is shaken by nothing and caves into no one. There's a name for a person who finds no emotion or meaning in anything, and that's a psychopath, okay? Why would you want to emulate a psychopath? I have no fucking clue. So what does not giving a fuck mean? Let's look at 3 subtleties that should help clarify the matter. Subtlety number 1, okay? Not giving a fuck does not mean being indifferent. It means being comfortable with being different. Let's be clear, there's absolutely nothing admirable or confident about indifference. I think it's the worst thing you can bring to an audition if you're an actor as well. Fuck me. If they ask you for your opinion on a script, don't be indifferent. It's just, you need to make people in anything you do in life, whether you're selling someone something, selling yourself, auditioning, they've got to feel something, whether that's a positive emotion or a negative one. Doesn't matter. They'll remember you. If you make them feel indifferent, indifference is just where everything just like goes to die, basically. So yeah, let's be clear, right? People who are indifferent are lame and scared. They're couch potatoes and internet trolls. Right? In fact, indifferent people often attempt to be indifferent because in reality, they gave way too many fucks. They give a fuck about what everyone thinks of their hair, so they never bother washing or combing it. They give a fuck about what everyone thinks of their ideas, so they hide behind sarcasm and self-righteous snark. They're afraid to let anyone get close to them, so they imagine themselves as some special, unique snowflake who has problems that no one else would ever understand. Good evening, Andre. Indifferent people are afraid of the world and the repercussions of their own choices. That's why they don't make any meaningful choices. They hide in a grey, emotionless pit of their own making, self-absorbed and self-pitying, perpetually distracting themselves from this unfortunate thing demanding their time and energy called life. Because here's a sneaky truth about life. There's no such thing as not giving a fuck. You must give a fuck about something. It's part of our biology to always care about something and therefore to always give a fuck. The question then is, what do we give a fuck about? What are we choosing to give a fuck about? And how can we not give a fuck about what ultimately does not matter? My mother was recently screwed out of a large chunk of money by a close friend of hers. Had I been indifferent, I would have shrugged my shoulders, sipped my mocha and downloaded another season of The Wire. Sorry, Mum. But instead, I was indignant. I was pissed off. I said, no, screw that, Mum. We're going to a lawyer. We're going to lawyer the fuck up and go after this asshole. Why? Because I don't give a fuck. I will ruin this guy's life if I have to. This illustrates the first subtlety of not giving a fuck. When we say, damn, watch out, Mark Manson just don't give a fuck. Mark Manson wrote the book. So you would say, watch out, Jason Broderick, we don't give a fuck. If your name's Jason Broderick. If it's not, you wouldn't say that. So we don't mean that Mark Manson doesn't care about anything. On the contrary, we mean that Mark Manson doesn't care about adversity in the face of his goals. He doesn't care about pissing some people off to do what he feels is right or important or noble, like we mean with Bulletproof Actor. We mean that Mark Manson is the type of guy who would write about himself in third person because he thought it was the right thing to do. He just doesn't give a fuck. I would never write about myself in third person, though. This is what is so admirable. Maybe I shouldn't give a fuck about that. I should just write in third person. No, not me, dumbass. The overcoming adversity stuff, the willingness to be different and outcast, that's what's admirable. All for the sake of one's own values. The willingness to stare failure in the face and shove your middle finger back at it. The people who don't give a fuck about adversity or failure or embarrassing themselves or shit in the bed a few times. The people who just laugh and then do what they believe in anyway because they know it's right. They know it's more important than they are. More important than their own feelings and their pride and their ego. They say fuck it, not to everything in life, but rather to everything unimportant in life. They reserve their fucks for what truly matters. Friends, family, purpose, burritos, and an occasional lawsuit or two. And because of that, people they reserve their fucks for, and because of that, because they reserve their fucks for the big things that matter, people give a fuck about them in return. Because here's another sneaky little truth about life. You can't be an important and life-changing presence for someone, without also being a joke and an embarrassment to others. You just can't. Because there's no such thing as a lack of adversity. It doesn't exist. The old saying goes that no matter where you go, there you are. No matter where you go, there's £500 load of shit waiting for you, and that's perfectly fine. The point isn't to get away from the shit. The point is to find the shit you enjoy dealing with. Boom. That's pretty good, isn't it? Find the shit you enjoy dealing with. You know? That resonates with me completely. I was working in retail 11 years ago. That was shit I hated dealing with. Now, I have to organise edits for my vlog, organise guests for the website, be live at 9 o'clock every Monday, write articles, publish blog posts, answer emails, write Facebook posts, do social media. That's shit I enjoy dealing with. So, not all the time, though. There's parts of that I'm like, oh, maybe I give too many fucks about that there. I should maybe drop that a little bit. But ultimately, yeah, you will always face adversity in everything you do. So you just want to make sure that the adversity is adversity that you at least enjoy dealing with. Subtlety number 2, to not give a fuck about adversity, you must first give a fuck about something more important than adversity. Okay? Imagine you're at a grocery store and you watch an elderly lady scream at the cashier, berating him for not accepting her 30-cent coupon. Why does this lady give a fuck? It's just 30 cents. I'll tell you why. That lady probably doesn't have anything better to do with her days than to sit at home cutting out coupons. She's old and lonely. Her kids are dickheads and never visit. She hasn't had sex in over 30 years. She can't fart without extreme lower back pain. Her pension is on its last legs and she's probably going to die in a diaper thinking she's in Candyland. So she snips coupons. That's all she's got. It's her and her damn coupons. It's all she can give a fuck about because there's nothing else to give a fuck about. And so when that pimply-faced 17-year-old cashier refuses to accept one of them, when he defends his cash register's purity that way knights used to defend maidens' virginity, you can bet Granny is going to erupt. 80 years of fucks will rain down all at once like a fiery hailstorm of back in my day and people used to show more respect stories. The problem with people who hand out fucks like ice cream at a goddamn summer camp is they don't have anything more fuckworthy to dedicate their fucks to. If you find yourself consistently giving too many fucks about trivial shit that bothers you, your ex-boyfriend's new Facebook picture, how quickly the battery dies in the TV remote, missing out on yet another 2-for-1 sale on hand sanitizer, chances are you don't have much going on in your life to give a legitimate fuck about. And that's your real problem, not the hand sanitizer, not the TV remote. Okay, I once heard an artist say that when a person has no problems, the mind automatically finds a way to invent some. I think what most people, especially educated, pampered, middle-class white people, consider life problems are really just side effects of not having anything more important to worry about. It then follows that finding something important and meaningful in your life is perhaps the most productive use of your time and energy. Because if you don't find that meaningful something, your fucks will be given to meaningless and frivolous causes. So hopefully you've all found something fuckworthy in your life. Basically, I need this book, says Karen. This book is brilliant, says Jace. It is pretty good, isn't it? And then subtlety number 3, which we will leave on tonight. We'll end it here, right? Subtlety number 3, about how you just need to stop giving less fucks without actually caring about nothing, is whether you realise it or not, you are always choosing what to give a fuck about. This I believe in so much, right? People aren't just born not giving a fuck. And in fact, we're born giving way too many fucks. Ever watch a kid cry his eyes out because his hat is the wrong shade of blue? Exactly. Fuck that kid. When you're young, everything is new and exciting, and everything seems to matter so much. Therefore, we give tons of fucks. We give a fuck about everything and everyone. About what people are saying about us, about whether that cute boy or girl called us back or not, about whether our socks match or not, or what colour our birthday balloon is. As we get older, with the benefit of experience and having seen so much time slip by, we begin to notice that most of these things have little lasting impact on our lives. Those people whose opinions we care about so much before are no longer present in our lives. Rejections that were painful in the moment have actually worked out for the best. We realise how little attention people pay to the superficial details about us, and we choose not to obsess so much over them. Essentially, we become more selective about the fucks we're willing to give, and there's something called maturity. That's called maturity. It's nice. You should try it sometime. Maturity is what happens when one learns to only give a fuck about what's truly fuckworthy. As Bunk Moreland, whoever he is, said to his partner, Detective McNulty in The Wire, why have I not... I haven't watched enough of The Wire. Which, fuck you, I still downloaded, Mark says. That's what you get for giving a fuck when it wasn't your turn to give a fuck. Right? Then as we grow older and enter middle age, something else begins to change. Our energy level drops. Our identity solidifies. We know who we are and we accept ourselves, including some of the parts we aren't thrilled about. And in a strange way, this is liberating. We no longer need to give a fuck about everything. Life is just what it is. We accept it, warts and all. We realise that we're never going to cure cancer or go to the moon or feel Jennifer Aniston's tits. And that's okay. Life goes on. We now reserve our ever-dwindling fucks for the most truly fuckworthy parts of our lives, our families, our best friends, our golf swing, and to our astonishment, this is enough. This simplification actually makes us really fucking happy on a consistent basis, and we start to think maybe that crazy alcoholic Bukowski was onto something. Don't try. Boom. That's chapter 1, The Subtle Art of How to Not Give a Fuck by Mark Manson. I think there's a lot of, it's funny, innit? But there's a lot of truth in that. And it doesn't mean you just don't give a fuck about anything. It doesn't mean I just don't care about this audition. I'm not going to prepare. That's fuckworthy. The thing you don't care about is who's in the reception. You know, you don't care about the fact you got a parking ticket on the way to the audition. You know, because you should be grateful you've actually got a car and you had an audition. That's not fuckworthy. Actually the audition is. So it's not about going, I'm just not. I'm not going to care about anything. It's actually about going, what do I really need to care about in my life? What am I actually going to be worried about or bothered about that I made the right decision about on my deathbed? It's not going to be probably what a lot of your fucks have been given to already this week, and it's only Monday. And those listening on the audio experience, I don't know what day it is, but maybe you've just given away way too many fucks this week, caring about what someone thought, what someone said about you, some bullshit gossip on social media. Someone said profit share theatre thing, and how someone's getting something over on you, or they're getting more money than you, or some fucking other nonsense. It's just bullshit. So ultimately, I think it's good. What do you think of the book? And apologies for missing people on Periscope. I think everyone's moved over to Facebook for this, to be honest now. I can see people who were on Periscope who are now on Facebook. So give us some comments about what you think. If you want to buy the book, if you're watching on the replay, it's underneath this video. If you're on actsonthis.tv right now, if you're watching live, get yourself over to amazon.co.uk. You can read along with me next week. Oh, not next week, it's going to be the Monday after, innit? So next Monday is going to be a open Q&A where you can come and we just talk about anything next Monday night, 9 p.m. UK time. Anything to do with the acting industry, voiceover industry, online social media, marketing yourself, all kinds of stuff. But it's it's pretty good. We'll be back on this book reading another chapter of it in 2 weeks' time. But let me know what you think, what your thoughts are, and if I can help you with anything else. Gareth's laughing his head off. Jason still loves the... he's going to be using that hashtag, Jace, hashtag fuckworthy. I think it's pretty good. Yeah, like I say, apologies if you don't like the swearing. It's the book, not me. But I think it's done in quite a charming way. Thank you so much to those people who have watched my vlog today. It was an awesome vlog, actually. This vlog is fuckworthy. You should definitely go and have a look at this. I do a weekly vlog every Monday. An episode comes out. It's about 25-30 minutes long. Behind the scenes of my acting career, voiceover career, online business, and life. This week I had Coronation Street actress Sheryl Lee Houston on the vlog, along with Line of Duty casting director Daniel Edwards. Also cast things like The Innocents for Netflix, Ripper Street, Mr. Selfridge, massive TV drama. He was on the vlog. We were talking about diversity in the industry, and also what you can do if you're going to a lot of auditions and not getting any of them. He gives out some nice advice on that. You know, you might be going to auditions and you're thinking, oh God, you know, I've been to 10 things and I haven't got one yet. It gives some great perspective on that, because you never know, your 11th could be the game that, you know, the gig that changes the game, that changes your entire life. Go check it out. I'm going to play a 1 minute trailer of it, and then I'll be back with you. Here's 1 minute of the vlog.
Times are changing. The industry is changing.
Welcome everybody to episode 36 of Watch Ross. Probably the hottest vlog on record. But don't worry, we've got magnums.
Why aren't there a huge amount of exciting actors with disability who are playing leading roles in film and theatre?
Do you know what Chris said to me downstairs? It's normally ladies who have the white ones. I have the white one.
People are talking, people are saying, hang on a second, this isn't fair, this isn't right. They're putting their thoughts, their experiences onto social platforms, and that information is filtering through.
We're going to work together to hopefully create more work opportunities for each other.
I am, I suppose, learning from scratch in some respects. People's experience, actors with disability and their different experience, and how I can help that change.
Boom, just 60 seconds of it. It's another 26 minutes of it over at youtube.com/Watch Ross. Go check it out. I'm also going to be, if you subscribe, completely free to subscribe, obviously on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. If you do, I'm going to be giving away £150 cash or paying for an Actors Spotlight subscription at the end of this month. So you've got like 3 weeks to get on there. youtube.com/Watch Ross. Watch as many episodes as you can. Every comment you leave on an episode, one per episode max, will be an entry into the prize draw. So if you watch all 36 episodes and leave a comment on each one, you've got 36 entries to the prize draw. We're drawing one person at random, and I'll either be sending you £150 cash to your PayPal account or paying for your Spotlight subscription if you've not gotten Spotlight yet. Or, you know, it's probably just easy giving the cash in it. You can spend it on whatever you want. Maybe you want to go spend it on some sangria and a bit of holiday. It's beautiful weather, but spend it on whatever you want. I don't give a fuck. £150, you can spend that, but you must go and subscribe on YouTube. That's the only way you can enter the competition and leave a comment on an episode. Share it with your friends as well. The more eyes we can get on this, the more impact we can make. There's some really good stuff in there. Definitely. What's going on Facebook here? Watched the vlog this week, was great. Met Dan at Bristol, says Jason. He's such a good guy, Daniel Edwards. I was getting nervous about coming to the meetup on Saturday, having not been for a while. But now I don't give a fuck. Well done, Lee. Honestly, just don't give a fuck. We do a meetup in Manchester and in London for the Acts on This TV community. Become a part of it. Go to actsonthis.tv. Get a membership completely free if you want. You can go premium. It's £10 a month. You get access to 400 hours worth of interviews with the biggest casting directors, agents, writers, producers, actors, directors in the industry. Total no-brainer. Go sign up. Don't give a fuck if you don't. But really, I give a fuck. So yeah, go and sign up. It is fuck-worthy. Definitely go and do that. But we do a meet-up on the first Saturday of every month. I host it in Manchester. Someone else hosts it in London. In Manchester, it's at Home Theatre. In London, I think it's at Benuga. Left Bank, is it? Someone from London on Facebook might be able to fill me in on that. But yeah, Home Theatre in Manchester. This Saturday it's happening, which is going to be the 7th of July. Is it the 7th of July? I think it is. 2nd today, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th of July. Yeah. Get yourself down and coffee, cake, acting chat. It's well fuck-worthy. Definitely get yourself on that. The vlog was great, says Lindsay. You nearly taking everything out with the mic. Yeah, no. I'm partially sighted, you see. So when I'm holding the microphone in my hand and I'm kind of like waving it around at people, and I'm nearly smashing people in the face with it because I've got limited peripheral vision. Very interesting. I like the way. Did you see when I walked into my apartment as well? And they took the phone off the wall as well, Lindsay. That's being partially sighted for you. But I don't give a fuck. It's fine. Which is good. Steve's laughing. He says, I can't come Saturday as I'm playing golf in Yorkshire. I'm crap at golf, but I don't give a fuck. Oh, it's good, isn't it? See what I mean? Look how much better life gets when you just don't give as many fucks. Honestly. Seriously, it's good. I'll spend some time on buying you your medicine when I'm in Salford on the 21st. What medicine am I having? What, coffee, Bobby? Is that what you're talking about? Coffee's medicine. Watched the vlog this week. Was really great. Ross, Danny's great. Oh, yeah, it's you, Jace. I've read that. Met him in Bristol. South Bank, Jay says, yep, it is wicked at the Benugo Lounge at the BFI South Bank. That's where it's happening this Saturday. So 11 a.m. it is at both Home Theatre in Manchester and the Benugo Lounge at BFI South Bank. So if you're listening on the audio experience before the 7th of July, get yourself down. Mel Radloff hosts it with Wendy. They're legends in London. I host it in Manchester at Home Theatre. Would love to see you there. And Lindsay also loves the white magnums. Yeah, there was a bit of a debate on the vlog this week that white magnums are for the ladies and the milk chocolate ones are for the gents. I must thus be a lady because I always go for the white milk chocolate one, but that's diversity for you, isn't it? You know, at the end of the day, men, you can have a white magnum. That's on the vlog. So yeah, get yourself over to youtube.com/watchross to watch that. If you're just joining now, seeing a load of people just jump on Periscope and Twitter, you've missed the book club, Mark Manson's The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. It's so good. I mean, I don't give a fuck that you've missed it. You should give a fuck because it's fuck worthy. So when I end this broadcast, the replay will actually be live on Twitter instantly to watch. It's very funny. You should watch it. Those on Facebook the same. And I'm also going to upload it to YouTube tomorrow. For those watching live, and I'll be uploading it to the audio experience on iTunes. If you are not subscribed to the audio experience, go subscribe. Go to iTunes or Stitcher.com or wherever you get your podcasts from and search for the Act on This TV audio experience, all one word. Just type in Act on This TV and you'll find it. It'll come up. Subscribe for free. I put the audio of all these live broadcasts, book clubs, Q&As, everything online on it's just the audio as a podcast every week for free. So you can go and subscribe to that and you get motivation and mind hacks while you're in the car, Q&As, keep up to date with what's going on, how you can promote yourself as an actor, what's happening, and anything that I'm doing on Acts on This. I will leave you with this. I am going to be doing a live Q&A broadcast with one of the biggest casting directors in the UK, a guy called Victor Jenkins. He just cast Humans for Channel 4, the third series of that. He cast some massive stuff. He was responsible for Broadchurch with Kelly Valentine Henry. Massive drama. He's just done something called The Rook with Adrian Lester. That's a US drama that's going to be coming out. That's just started filming a couple of weeks ago. He's a guy you would never normally get a chance to sit and chat with. If you join Act on This and become a premium member, actonthis.tv, get a premium membership for just £10 a month. No minimum lock-in on that. Cancel whenever you want. I don't give a fuck. That's absolutely fine. Then you'll get access to this on the 12th of July. It's going to be happening on Thursday, the 12th of July at 7 p.m. over on actonthis.tv. You need a premium membership to join, but you're going to be able to sit and watch from the comfort of your own home like you're doing now on your phone or your MacBook or your laptop or whatever, and ask Victor your personal acting questions. It's not a general Q&A where we talk some bullshit. It's all about you. You get a chance to write your questions and get answers from Victor, a guy who is at the top of the industry when it comes to casting, and is a guy who you would probably, if you care about your acting career, really give a fuck to be in front of. If you give a fuck, get a premium membership and be on that. I've then also got another couple of things coming up. I've got a podcast with a guy called Chris Lunt, incredible TV writer, wrote something called Prey 2, starred John Sim. You might have seen that for ITV. He's got some big Sky Atlantic projects in the pipeline. He's going to be coming on talking about actors and wanting to write, how you write. Maybe you give too many fucks about what people are going to think about you if you suddenly try and write something, you don't want to do it because you're scared. He's going to talk us through that. I've got Isabel Steele. She's an actress who plays a character called Liv on Emmerdale, very young actress, just won the Best Young Performer at the Soap Awards. She's coming on for a podcast soon. Got so much stuff for premium members. Get a premium membership. You should give a fuck. And the money goes to charity anyway. I mean, it's literally not money for me. It just runs the site, pays for charity donations for the people that come on and record features with me. So it's very fuckworthy. Thank you very much. And Bobby, yes, you did mean coffee by medicine before. Well, appreciate that. Almond magnums. Steve, you're throwing a spanner in the work there, big time. Double caramel, says Jason. Frickin' hell. I mean, it's all just getting a bit too complex. Double caramel, almond. I'll stick in with white ones. White ones is enough. I get too much flack. I got a load of flack by having a white one. People go in there for girls. Well, remember that advert for Yorkie? And how sexist is that? They would never be able to get away with that these days. That was an advert that people shouldn't give too many fucks about, but I think got people's backs up where it said, Yorkie, the chocolate bar, not for girls. Remember that? Yeah, people gave a fuck about that too much, really. And then Yorkie brought out like a girls' edition one, I think, that was pink, to kind of say sorry. But yeah, they were doing. My agents at the voiceover gallery were ribbing me for having a white one on the vlog. But diversity, innit? The vlog was all about diversity. Right, I'm ready to finish the broadcast. I want to just say thank you for those who have stayed through all to the end. We've been here for an hour and 2 minutes. Hope you've enjoyed it. Going to be back next Monday. For an open Q&A, and then next Thursday, remember it's that Q&A with Victor Jenkins. So go to actonthis.tv, sign up for your premium membership. Definitely give a fuck. I give a fuck about all you, and if we do anything for you, let me know. All right, hit me up at Ross A. Grant on Twitter, at actonthistv. Till next time, love you all. Thank you so much. Bye for now. Go get a white Magnum.